Testing. All right.
I think your mic works fine. It's just a matter of my competency as a content creator. But I think we're all right. You ready?
We are Gucci.
Not sponsored. Welcome. Hello. Welcome on in, everybody. For those who do not know, my name is Guest, also known as ItsGuestGaming. That is Camden right over there. And this is the podcast. You snap, and we snap back. Let's talk about everything that's going on. It is officially Nimrod season. Happy Nimrod Day. Happy new season pass day. Happy new, let's just start this climb all over again day. But we had some changes also get announced. We'll talk about, the season itself. We'll dive on in. First off, how you doing, man? How you doing today?
I am doing absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, I didn't get my caffeine for today. I'm going on 4 hours of sleep, just like you.
Yeah,
it was a long night.
Coffee.
Energy drinks. Yes, I need something. Something.
You don't do coffee? You only do energy drinks, dude?
I have never tasted coffee. Fun fact.
Not even like Monster Java. Not sponsored. Like... Nothing?
Unless y'all want to sponsor us, then holla at your boy.
Are you?
But no.
Oh my God. Like, so I don't know if it's because it's just like the super Italian, Brazilian mindset of life and culture for me. Like, I used to hate coffee. I was forced to like coffee when I worked for Disney because I'd be up at, 5 a.m. doing informational tours. And if I couldn't get my giant behemoth size
your fix
Diet Coke, not even like Coke Zero or like Diet Coke, like
Diet Coke. Liquid. I still do that.
Liquid crack, disgusting, going to kill you 1 week off of your life, but you're awake. If I couldn't get that, you had that really, really crappy machine coffee. Because I know you've worked in hospitality too. Like, you ever see the coffee machines that it's not even coffee, it's just syrup, and they mix the syrup with the hot water, and that they call it coffee.
I can't do it.
Concentrated coffee, and it's just so bad. That's how I got introduced to it. And then I married a Brazilian, and then she introduced me to real coffee, and then that just became everyday everything. So I have at least a pot of coffee every day. Depending on the event, I'll do energy drinks, but I just feel like energy drinks cut even more of my life short than coffee does, because at least coffee.
I'm probably dying tomorrow. Then
this is its own rant. Okay, we got Nimrods and friends to deal with, so let's just fast forward.
Oh, Nimrod, Nimmy.
Oh, so I streamed this morning.
Little Nimmy.
I was here for what was the changeover. No, I swear to go check the playback. I got Nimrod right when he came out after the weird glitch that it took a little while for people to be able to get into the game. It right at reset.
Right?
It just kind of it happened to you too, right?
So annoying. It happened to
because
it sucked.
I saw certain content creators were closing down their streams for a little while until it finally calmed down. Like, granted, it's not the end of the world. It's just the season reset. We all can have a little patience every now and then. But finally, once we were able to go on in and get on into Nimrod's, scheming and put him into decks and, we're going to try out this deck and try out this idea. And I just threw it together a bunch of different things. I threw in a Galactus deck. I threw in a Destroyer deck. I did 14 matches with Nimrod at midnight.
Let me guess. You weren't happy with it.
No, I wasn't allowed to have an opinion because I didn't fucking play him. I went 14 matches and I never got an opportunity to get Nimrod to do his effect. The closest I got at any given point was I played him on turn 5, got him onto the damn battlefield, and played down my Destroyer on 6, just waiting, and then they retreated. So that was the closest I gotten in the first 14 matches. So at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm going to bed. I'm just going to retry tomorrow. So we tried again today. Obviously, we had 5 plus 6, whatever it was, hours, and then really got to super dive into what he can potentially bring to a couple of different decks and archetypes. Have you had a chance to test him yet? Because I know you said you had very little sleep also. Just out of curiosity before I kind of dive into my opinions.
I have not had a chance to test him. The reason why is because I kind of jump to my own conclusions. I know that we spoke about this a little bit yesterday, and we discussed, hey, what is it going to be? 8, 7, depending on a scale of 1 to 10. My opinion is that it's Doom for destroy. Like, so I've already played with Doom. I didn't really. No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
It was
So
lackluster for me. So
are you going to even get the
I'm
season
more.
pass?
No, I'm not. I am going to play devil's advocate to what everybody else is thinking, and I'm going to actually. And you know what sucks is I was so excited for the season pass. I was so excited for Days of Future Past and all this other type of stuff because I'm a fan. Okay.
Yeah.
X-Men. Let's go. Yes, it gets an official from me. But I'm so much more excited about the other cards that are coming as opposed to Nimmy. Because Nimmy is little Timmy. He's not doing it.
I mean, I'll 100% agree with you. I think that the cards that are coming after Nimrod, starting next week, are better. All three at this point. All three of them are better. But I will push back on your preconceived notions of Nimrod. Because basically Nimrod is very similar to Doom, mixed with Swarm. So I was pleasantly surprised once we started to find some of the different decks and rhythms. And the thing that worked for me was really diving into how many of them could I either A, get onto the battlefield at any given point, or B, how quickly can I get him to ramp before I multiply him once? And once I decided that, I was then able to say, okay, this is a card that when you're building around it and you're trying to build into destroy in some potential way, shape, or form, you have to go into it with one of two strategies. And once I kind of in my head separated those two, that's when I felt like, okay, this is how you're supposed to work around Nimrod. Because I saw several different people last night playing a variety of different style of decks because, of course, it's a destroy card, right? So certain cards immediately pop into your head. Immediately. Arnim Zola, Destroyer, Galactus, and I mean, everybody has their own favorite destroy card. Venom, exactly.
Carnage.
There are so many different ways that you could make him multiply. But it's not just about making him multiply, because technically, if you're only looking to make him multiply once, as is in his base format, he's then a worse version of the comparison that you're using on him. And if you put yourself in that narrow-mindedness, I don't think that you're going to be profitable on seeing the potential of what he does. Because when you do have, for example, either the option A of doing the Shuri into Nimrod into get two of them out there somehow, or you play into the idea of accelerating the ramp with either, Psylocke and Wave and friends, etc., and then get 4 or 6 or even more of them out on the battlefield. And you've got a actually pretty decent card. I already think.
See, that's the part that kills me. That's the part that kills me. You said a pretty decent card. Okay,
yes,
so
decent.
Let's think about this. Okay, what are the things that are going to be able to stop this card from even getting to fruition, and what is that prevalent in today's meta? Of course it is. I mean, take a look at Leech. Leech just completely negates what you want to do unless you're ramping up into Nimrod, and that is just Leech is everywhere. Leech is everywhere. It's like you can't necessarily get him out fast enough in order to do the things that you kind of want. And does he do things better than other cards? Is he a card that you would like to take another card out of your destroyed deck in order to make this function? I mean, you have to build around this card and have to really navigate some landmines in order for him to even get a positive expected value out of it. So for me, it's a pass. He is only okay at what he does, and you have to jump through hurdles in order to get him to work.
The closest comparison, like when it comes to like value of what he brings to the archetype, in my opinion, would be Sabretooth Plus. That's the easiest way I would probably define him, because yes, you're going to play him a little later on, and then on turn 6 or, you know, you basically have only 1 or 2 turns, typically at most, to then make his effect happen. So it does limit him. But if you build your deck with that turn 6 in mind, you can make it happen, which feeds into the exact problem and point that you bring up, which is Leech. And I don't know if you saw this. Did you see the 2.5-minute video that Jeff Hoagland put out there about must-see to help you decide if you want to get Nimrod? Did you see this at all?
No,
because if
I have not seen it.
It's 2.5 minutes of absolute frickin' gold. It's perfect. He gives a small intro to make your decision on what to do, and then he literally just plays for 2 straight minutes, nothing but solid turn 5s of the opponent going leech, 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 arrow, 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 leech, 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 leech. Because it's a problem. It's such a problem. We can't enjoy these awesome, unique turn 5 mechanics as much because of the way that certain cards are currently constructed. So I'll tell you that. I'll ask you this then. Is Leech a hindering factor for you in this card's playability in the current game environment? Do you think that he's a reason you would not play Nimrod?
Yes. Yeah, look, okay, I just want to say one little thing. Okay. Leech needs to get the treatment that Leader got. Leech needs to be nerfed. Leech needs to at least be nerfed into a way that his ability only negates the first 2 cards of the person's deck or hand, I should say. It is a very fixable thing. Why it has not been fixed yet behooves, it's beyond me. And it is one of those things that just grinds my gears to a point where it's just like, this is just, it's bad design, in my opinion.
Okay,
Leech is bad design.
I'll throw another variation because we don't want to go too Nakia on this, right? We don't want to, you know, have it be a
I'm full Nakia on it. Nakia.
But seriously, I'll throw another variation to you out there, okay, when it comes to Leech. What if it's something that, and hear the whole thing, because I know you're going to jump at one word. What if it's something that you can play on turn 4, but specifically says in the text, at the end of your next turn, blah, 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 blah. That way you have 1 turn of full playability to get this card's effect to happen.
I'm down for either or, but I just have a feeling that what you propose is going to be a lot harder for the devs to do. Code-wise.
On your next turn, I disagree. I mean, if you can figure out Adam Warlock,
whatever is the easiest,
you
I
can
don't
figure
care.
out how to do
honestly,
on your next turn. Like, I think it's doable. Is my point. I think it's doable, but more importantly,
then do it. Damn it!
Exactly. That's the problem. It needs to be done. It needs to be done. That's the issue right now. Is that Leech and Arrow? Let's be honest. Need to have adjustments put into place. Removing a power off of Arrow isn't the problem with Arrow. The problem with Arrow, make her a 5/11, but unplayable on turn 6. Fine. Bring her back to her glory, but give her the magic treatment. When it comes to Leech, I do like your idea of the first X amount of cards in your hand, but not your entire deck. Or, sorry, your entire hand, excuse me.
But
you know, maybe some kind of configuration in there, or cards played in this lane have no effects. You know,
I just don't understand how they didn't have the. I don't understand how they didn't have the foresight to be like, hey, this is kind of broken. Because when I first got into this game, I immediately saw Leech and I played it and I immediately put it down like, oh, that's a nuclear option. Yikes. Let's not
Yeah.
press the panic red button. Like,
Yeah,
what
it's
the?
true.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Well,
Now, Arrow, I will say this. I have no issues with Arrow. Me personally, I don't see Arrow being an issue. But then again, I play a certain archetype that allows me
right.
to do what I want to circumnavigate that. But I don't have any issues with Arrow. Leech is just bad design.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw
I'll
it out
agree.
there. Just bad
I
design.
think it's a card that needs adjusting because we can't take these new shiny toys like Nimrod, like Kitty Pryde, the
Oh,
NTW, and Master Mold. We
whew.
can't enjoy them the same way because they're just cards that are gonna end up being only benefited by Patriot if it's already on the battlefield. That's it, because Leech is that big of a problem. So I'm gonna use that as a segue opportunity before I kind of, let me just wrap up my quick thought here on Nimrod. I guessed yesterday in our
Please.
conversation yesterday, I guessed he'd probably be somewhere around a 7.5 and 8 when it comes to like what he brings to the play style. And even after just one day, I'll say I personally feel that that's pretty on point. He's not a mandatory card for that archetype. It's not building a deck around Nimrod. It's making Nimrod work in certain current good decks. Put him into a destroyer deck or a control destroyer deck, electro destroyer deck. It works in that destroyer deck type because you can now play into another 5 power differently. It works in a Galactus deck as a stackable, scalable option for something that makes Galactus more interesting now because you can play him on turn 6, which was almost impossible to successfully make happen prior. I do think there is
Agreed.
probably a hidden deck that I'm personally trying to figure it out, and I think I'm close. I hate to put the combo out there, but Thanos and Nimrod have a really, really good time together. Really good time together because I love running a destroy Thanos deck. So throwing that in there with Nimrod as a further multiplier
Yeah,
has a lot of big potential because you're eating the little stones.
that
And
has
then
some
if you happen
potential.
to also eat up a Nimrod, that'll play a couple more on the far side. I mean, it's solid. I'm trying to figure
Yeah.
out, can I get him, as we're always trying to do on these, 4, 5, and 6 plus power cards. Cost cards. We're always trying to figure out, can we get them out sooner? We're always looking at electro ramping and wave and all these other mechanics, right? Why not just have him pop up with Lockjaw? And then eat Lockjaw. He's a good boy, but he can die, and it's okay. So get him on the field. Lockjaw goes down on 3. You throw something else out on turn 4, and then, oh, look, it was the blue. I always confuse them all. The blue stone. Then you can slide Lockjaw, cha-cha slide him over to the side. And look, Nimrod, is the one that popped out. So there are some options there that I'm trying to play on through. I do think that his overall best option from just looking at playback, looking at the decks that I thought were successful or were well balanced, were Arnim Zola decks. I think that
Hmm.
probably is competing with Destroyer more than Galactus, or just Destroy in general, for probably best Nimrod archetype, how to play into that, because you can build a really solid Arnim Zola deck without Nimrod. And then Nimrod, what that's doing for you is just adding on one more out that is a masterfully powerful turn 6. Because if you get him boosted at all, you're playing your Forge, you're playing your Shuri, you're playing your whatever. If you're really brave, you're playing, Hulkbuster, whatever. You get all these other cards, whatever it is, that can boost up Nimrod. Maybe not Hulkbuster, but get him there, and then you end up playing multiple because it destroys via his own mechanic and Arnim Zola's mechanic. So it's a really, really solid combo. I think that's probably my favorite one, and probably the number one card I would say is the target synergy for Nimrod. more than death, more than anything else. He's a good card, but he's not going to be mandatory for the archetype. He only feeds into the archetype, and that is exactly what a season pass should be. It needs to be a card that doesn't define the meta by itself. Like we saw with Zabu, like we saw with Silver Surfer. They learned from their mistakes and we've moved on. It was really bad. And then we had MODOK. And I mean, MODOK should almost be like the season that shall not be named because it was just very bad. MODOK season was, okay, this was fun. You can make some fun decks with MODOK. But again, another card that's not mandatory in any way, shape, or form, but in my opinion is weaker than what Nimrod brings to the table. Unlike Kitty Pryde, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and Master Mold. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube or Teeb or whatever this, this channel place broadcast thing is called, I'll put them up on the screen over here, but basically Kitty Pryde, who originally in the data mines was a 1/0, but now is a 1/2, where her mechanic
very enticing, isn't it?
Yeah, you can return this to your hand to gain +2 power, starting at a 1/2. So think of all the back and forth you can do with that. We'll get there. Negasonic Teenage Warhead is a 3/2 that after any card is played here, destroy this card and that card. We just talked about Nimrod. I know you are. I'm judging you. But you're doing it. And then
judge away, baby.
Then we got Master Mold, where is a 2/2, and I think better be touched because this is going to be almost toxic if done, if it's abused. And it's a 2/2 that on reveal adds 2 Sentinels to your opponent's hand.
So strong. Oh my gosh. So strong.
Who would you go after first out of the 3 and why?
Okay. So I want to give a little shout out to another content creator by the name of Bude. Reason being, Bude, if you're out there, he stomped me the first 2 games that we played with, one of them was with a bounce deck. And bounce decks are so incredibly fun. And we were talking, and I told him that I was talking about Kitty Pryde with you. I was excited about the possibility of running it in bounce. And now that excitement has gone to a whole nother stratosphere. I'm all for big brain cards. And this one is just seems like it's going to be so much fun. But.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm going to throw in an audible. I'm going to throw it in. I have to say that Master Mold and Negasonic Teenage Warhead are going to be the most absurdly dominant cards,
really,
in my opinion. Hear me out.
I am.
Hear me out.
That's why I'm here.
In tournament play. Guys, I'm here for tournaments. I can't wait to do my first tournament. I'm trying to tell you that Negasonic Teenage Warhead with Kang out there, with Daredevil out there. I mean, like, this girl is gonna be wicked. And if you've got 2, what it do, boo boo. Now, Master Mold is one of the most perfect control decks, especially if you're a hazmat player like myself. You want them to feed the field so that Hazy can just pull and rain down the thunder. And if they can't get to their next card, if they can't pull any cards because you've done so much damage to them, i.e., Black Widow, there's Master Mold is going to put on a master class and be in a lot of builds, and it's going to be beautiful, and it's very scary. I
agree.
This point, I don't know. Between Between those three, yikes. I don't know. This one's a tough one. What do you think?
I think it's funny you say the tournament side of things, because I do believe that we're going to end up having an issue with Master Mold in particular, specifically.
Facts.
Because of one card. One card and one card only, and it's not Ronin. It's one of your favorites. Absorbing.
Talk to me.
I think Zabu, Master Mold, and Absorbing Man as your 2, 3, 4 in tournament play is going to be one of the most frustrating things to maneuver around in the game, yet alone in tournament play. Because think about it. You're adding 2 Sentinels into your hand. Master Mold is going to be like fucking lice. It's going to just infect you.
It's an infestation.
You think you've gotten rid of it, and nope, it just comes on back again. And
yeah, because every time you play a Sentinel, what happens?
To use your own whatever the hell that is sound effect, you know, like that's
talk dirty to me.
No,
Come on, guess.
I'm apparently talking like Kitty Pryde, and that's what that sounds like. But like, I think that Master Mold in tournament play with Absorbing Man is going to be one of the most annoying things to deal with, and will almost be an auto retreat on ladder.
Yeah,
almost auto.
It's an auto retreat
because
I'm excited.
You're stuck with 4 cards in your hand that you just can't get rid of because they're like
no Black Widow in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You may not even need to. You may not even need to. Like, it's just absolutely insane, the idea that it's gonna put 2 Sentinels in your hand on turn 2. On turn 2. Like, I'm absolutely floored. And I'm a little worried.
It's terrible.
Because here's the thing.
It's terrible.
If Master Mold was a 5/2 that did that, it would still be a good card.
It would be, it still would be a good card. Not at 5/2.
Yeah, but I mean at 2/2, you're just infecting your opponent. You are like using Master Mold in Marvel Snap is like going to a frat party without a condom. You know you're going to get screwed, and you know you're coming back with something. It's not good.
That's that syphiloma herpes, girl.
Yeah. That gives definition to Negasonic Teenage Warhead completely differently now. But I'm worried. I'm legitimately worried because I think it's going to be a card that gets overly abused, especially in tournament play. I'll agree with you 100%. I think out of the 3, if I didn't just get Kang, because I celebrated hitting 5K today, I got my for my collection level, I had my 6,000 tokens. So I said, I want Big Bad number 3. I've had him pinned. I've been debating back and forth. You and I have been talking about it because I almost held off for out of the 3, I'd go Master Mold.
Yep.
But oh man, if you're a bounce guy, Kitty Pryde is going to be nuts. Absolutely
sick.
Nuts as a 1/2. Play it on 1. Call it back, whether it's Beast, whether it's Falcon, whether
there's some nasty things.
I will say, I'm curious what Mr. Blue Eyes White Dragon Butte was playing when it comes to bounce, because to the day, you know, and kudos to this deck, the West D4 best, his bounce deck is the best I have seen, gone up against and played personally in all ways. If you don't have the list, I'll send you the list. He puts it up on Twitter also as well. He's got a full video breakdown too. Really, really good deck because bounce is fun. It's a little tricky, but if you understand the mechanics, it's a lot of fun. So if you want a good challenge, a bounce style deck is a lot of fun. For those who do not know, you know, bounces, you know, play a card, put it back in your hand, play a card, put it back in your hand. Basically how you make your collector grow. Just imagine a whole deck based around that, right? So I think Kitty Pryde, of course, because going back and forth, she's getting stronger and stronger and stronger when we first talked and it was data mined at 1.0, we're like, okay, get up to 1.6. All right, we're looking like Titania Realm or, Ebony Maw. Okay, sure. But now we're looking at 1.8, 10, 12 potential. What Beast and Friends? Like, like Kitty Pryde could be a very underrated card. I think overall, if you're a fan of this current, Nimrod archetype, then if you had the tokens, I'd say go with the Teenage Warhead. If you're looking for overall, like most flexibility as a tech card, I'd say Master Mold. Because Master Mold is going to be, like, for me, would probably be the number one target. But I guess it really is just going to depend on what kind of style you like to play. It really just depends.
I'm going for Master Mold. I'm going for Master Mold. I'm going for pure toxicity with my hazmat. I can't wait
to see how you make Master Mold work, my good sir. That should be a lot of fun. I'll be, you know me, I'll be lurking in your streams. Absolutely. Let's move on though. Let's move on because Nimrod and the cards are all good. There's nothing bad to say about any of these cards, except for the fact that MODOK now costs 6,000 tokens. But if you're spending 6,000 on a MODOK, it's just, oh dear God, no. Just for all of the reasons. No.
Horrible just thinking about that.
All right. We gotta move on. Otherwise, it's gonna be like a 4-hour podcast. But I want to just quickly, before we get into all of the infection of these new cards are going to give us. The new locations, I love and hate. Love and hate. So you got 3 new locations coming this season. You got Orcus Forge, where after you play a card here, add a Sentinel to your hand. So while that's a new location, that's going to completely, that's, again, it's another infection. Then you've got Asteroid M, which is after you play a 3 or a 4 cost card, move it here. I got one word, Vulture. Okay, moving on. Lastly, Krakoa, where, dude, we need, as much as I love Ego as a location.
No, we're not doing, no, Ego sucks.
How dare you? No.
How dare you?
No. No. Ego is a legend.
Sucks.
He is a well-respected gentleman that you always snap on. Every single time.
Never. No, guys, do not snap on Ego. I don't know where this little trend started. Don't snap on Ego. That is negative expected value all the way around. It's horrible. No.
Oh dear God, man. No.
I am a hoot in Vegas, actually.
Probably for the wrong reasons. But no. You see Ego, you snap. That is law.
No.
That is law.
No, good sir. I took pew pew. No.
I will straight up look. Can you see the screen? Can you see?
Choose your weapon, sir. Choose your weapon, sir.
That's my weapon. I can make you disappear from this damn podcast like that. I delete you. Turn your
black
camera
magic
off. No, seriously though.
And then I say bibbity bobbity boo, and it's black magic. I'm back.
New definition of fairy godmother. So,
hey,
I think that this Krakoa location, for the 2 days that it's or 24 hours or whatever it is that's going to be here, on turn 5 takes over and plays both players' cards for them.
Horrible.
I'm not probably going to play that weekend because that is just annoying when it's happening 60% of games. 60% of games. That will happen. And that is annoying. It's one thing when it's Ego and it's a 0.025 little tiny, whatever it is, super microscopic chance and it's rare. And super rare at that. And let's be honest, Plunder Castle needs to be just as rare because it's just fucking annoying.
Oh my God.
But That's another rant.
Can you preach? No, we need some snaps. We need some snaps in here. Oh my God.
Castle. Like we had Plunder Castle. We made it work for a hot location. That's great. Now, can we put it in the rare category, please? Because it's just annoying. I'd rather have Sanctum Sanctorum where I just straight up know, yeah, it's impossible to play anything here. You got it or you don't. That's all. You got the things that move in there or you don't. End of discussion. But
the things that move in the air don't.
Yeah. With Krakoa, if you're gonna play, you know what? I have one test.
Oh God, here we go.
I have one test. Who wins in a fight? Krakoa or Agatha? Who's controlling who?
Oh God.
Go ahead.
That's a good one.
Stroke the beard. It's okay. Because that could be a lot of fun. That could be a lot of fun.
Look,
we'll see. That might
Agatha,
be the only way to
not a fan. Krakoa, not a fan. In the comics, not a fan. Even though they house a whole bunch of mutants, blah 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 blah, and it has a connection. Guys, X-Men is awesome. It's live and kicking. Go read it. Yes, I absolutely. When I think of these, Orcus Forge, exactly what you said. Infection, COVID-23. Okay, Asteroid M. I don't think Vulture. I think something else. I think Kingpin. Krakoa. I think trash. Get trash. Why? Second dinner. Homie. What's going on? Love us.
I think they do, just in very different ways than what we would want them to. I think that
my safe word is no, damn it.
I don't even want to count how many times you've said the word no in this podcast already then. But I
feel rather safe right now.
The new locations overall, you are going to have to, these are not going to be hot locations that you could just play around. These are going to be hot locations you need to play into because of how strong of an effect they are. Because sometimes you can kind of dance around it. Sometimes you can play other mechanics to move around them. Some of these are just going to be absolutely detrimental. Absolutely detrimental. The featured locations, on the other hand, when they pop up for their little 24-hour, premieres.
Beautiful.
Dude, they are pretty. Minus the negative zone, in the upcoming week. But Project Pegasus, Elysium, and Kamartaj. Here, you want... I'm going to throw you a whole bunch of it. Oh, you want to, have unnecessary amounts of power? Here you go. You have that with your Andre Veals. Have a good time, kids. Now go play. It's...
beautiful.
If you're an Exodia fan, you're going to love this.
I'm cheating.
Having that pop up as often as it is going to, just run the Gambit Exodia Chaos. I know you're going to be having way too much fun with your hazmats, but every deck is going to need to have just armor and Luke Cage in it for those 24 hours just to survive. No matter what you're running, don't care. Don't care. Have that with you. It's the only way you're going to survive.
It's the purge, baby.
Yeah. Hashtag not sponsored.
Yes.
I like the locations.
Yes.
I like the featured locations way more than the new locations. Way more. And for those of you watching on YouTube, I'm going to apologize because I know we're having a little bit of connection issues, but here on the podcast, I will say this. Overall, between now seeing Nimrod, in a little bit of play and seeing where people's minds are starting to go with it, he is the perfect level of importance as a season pass card. He adds more than what's currently there to the archetype that he is associated with. You don't have to have him, but he's not going to make you less competitive if you don't have him. He fits well. He fits appropriately. He gives you another out, another mechanic, another realm that you can play those cards that you love to play in that style. He's right in that sweet spot, that 7.5, 8 out of 10, B- type ranking of what he is. Now, just like we saw with MODOK, it's going to take us about a week or so between, the community to really figure out, okay, this is what works best if you're going to build a deck with him. Oh, you're thinking Arnim Zola decks? We're going to throw him in there just for kicks because he always synergizes well. Whatever it is, which I still believe it's Arnim Zola, whatever it is, I think that he is going to do super, super, super good things. Unlike our buddy Kang, as we talked in the pilot episode, because I had to ask, I'm going to ask you here live because I haven't asked you this yet. So I went into an interaction with Kang today against an opponent's Kang for the first time. Did you know that the opponent gets the rewind button also?
Yes.
I didn't.
Yeah, everybody gets the rewind button.
But why? Why should the opponent be getting the rewind button? It has nothing to do with the opponent. It's not rock, paper, scissors, Kang, where it's like, okay, 2 out of 3 people have to vote, Kang, the opponent, and you, of what happens next.
That would be interesting.
Sheldon Cooper out there is freaking out right now, going rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock, Kang, freaking the fuck out.
Yes.
Yeah, like I wouldn't even want to see what that combination of what beats what is.
Oh my God.
I'm curious if someone in the comments in any of the platforms would figure that out for us. Just throw that in there. But there's no reason the opponent should have that, in my opinion. It has nothing to do with the opponent. There's
so many design flaws. It's just, I think it was rushed. I honestly think that it was rushed, but
I don't think that it was rushed. I think that they missed very select scenarios that only a certain amount of playtesting are going to see. And I'm not saying that it was rushed and that's why it didn't happen. I'm saying that the combination of the amount of playtesters that can playtest this card as it goes out into the public and into the wild and live, yes, they're going to try a whole bunch of different lands and a whole bunch of different combos, but only once it's out in the wild and you're now seeing thousands of games of data and players recording specific interactions, then the devs are going back going, okay, so that happened when Elysium was down. It was, Sinister London. You played it on this side. Cosmo was in lane 3. Your sister's ass was in lane 2. Like it, they need to see that very specific combination to make some of those things happen sometimes. Because I've had this argument with so many people previously in other games when it comes to play testing and understanding that, exactly like you said, how did the devs miss this? Because they are human beings, okay? They have hours, they have time off, and sometimes shit falls through the cracks. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So when we find an interaction that's broken, unless if it's literally breaking the game or is a clear hack, okay, report it, they fix it, they move on. And this game has done very good in the last few months, very well in the last few months about, addressing when that kind of stuff happens. So I'm not concerned that they're not working on Kang, because clearly that's not the case at all. Clearly they're trying to make it better and consistent, figure out what's wrong and why did this interaction do this and go into the back code. And we know they can edit cards now in the live server without having to do certain game updates, which is great for this exact type of scenario. But I think the community very much so also overreacts when it comes to something is bugged versus something is too powerful. And the way people react is exactly the same. And that's not fair, because if it's bugged, that means it's something that was not intended and it is currently happening, which means it can be addressed and it can be fixed. If something comes out as too strong, like Zabu and Silver Surfer, then it needs to be nerfed. So being repaired is very different than being nerfed. But very often in this community, we do, in all gaming communities, let's be honest, we do an absolutely awful job of differentiating the two. So when it comes to Kang, I believe that he's overpowered because of the way that his kit works, not because of the way that he is bugged. The bugged only further feeds that fire, but once, say everything runs always smoothly in a perfect, magical unicorn rainbow world with him, and he runs as intended every time. That's the condition in which I think he's still too powerful. And I got comments about saying like, oh, he's not too powerful, he's just broken. No, he is too powerful because you're blaming the bugs right now for him being a problem. But that's not what the problem is, in my opinion. So I felt like I really needed to get that off my chest because this community, I love you all, but some of you are worse than others, and you know who you are more often than not. Just remember that these are humans too. And if something's broken, it'll get fixed. It'll get addressed. It'll be figured out in some way, shape, or form. But do your part, report it, and move on. Okay.
Tell me how you really feel. I loved it. Thank you. Because I also agree. No, look, I completely agree with everything that you just said. I do want to preface what I said earlier by saying that I do believe that it was rushed, because I really do believe that it was rushed. For example, bugs are one thing. Being overpowered is another thing. But graphical errors that happen when you just play the game with said card, that is either negligence or rushed. I mean, like you see it plain as day, either on PC or on your phone when it first came out. Now, have they addressed it? I don't know if they actually addressed it, but have they fixed it on phone? It was fixed for me. I'm happy. PC still gets a little glitchy, but I'm not trying to shoot the dev in the foot or trying to say, hey, blah, blah, blah,
I'm going to interrupt
blah.
you though. Wait. Hold on. Hang on. Wait. Are we ever going to get news fixed in the PC client? Just throwing that out there for fun shits and giggles, because the news never works in the PC client. I don't know why. It's just, it never populates. It's like when the news dropped and the updates happened. Oh, I'm on the PC, but let me go to my phone and open it up now twice at the same time and see what's going on in the news. That's annoying, but I digress. So sorry, I had to throw that little side.
No, I agree. No. But like you were saying, it's nothing to be in a tizzy about. Like, you don't have to fucking, I'm allowed to say that, right?
Say whatever the fuck you want.
Oh, preach.
Do you not remember the beginning?
I have played
of the
other
pilot?
games.
You named our show The Shit Show. That was the first 6 fucking seconds. I had to put a Macintosh quack over that so the first episode could be monetized. Are you kidding me? Am I allowed to say fucking here? Yes.
Look.
This is an uncomfortable environment.
What's my safe word? No, just kidding. No. Look. I wholeheartedly agree with the facts that you were just saying. Like, I think that a lot of people need to liven up, to just take 100%. It easy on the devs.
Yeah,
they're good. They made an amazing game. Economy's a little shaky, but I mean, let's be real. We came from a game.
You and I. Yeah, you and I.
Yes, you and I came from a game that had so many issues and so many bugs that were addressed but never fixed for months and months. I mean, some cases over a year. This is a breath of fresh air. This game
100%.
And what they have done with it is absolutely stellar. So, second dinner, I might have a gripe, but it pales in comparison to all the other great things that you've done. I want to thank you. Snaps.
A lot of 100% agree. 100% agree. You know, and let's also be clear with this too, that it's not a toxic community. There are toxic people.
Yeah, no, it's not.
There are toxic people in all different levels of the community, but that's also every single game community. That's just every game. You go into a game, you're going to find people that love it. You find people, the word troll came from something, right? So people love to do that. I still get, trolls that pop in on stream, just to say a random thing. And they do it with the only intent of just knowing that they're going to be banned and they don't know who you are, or they do know and they just don't care. And, as a content creator, those are always our concerns. We always have to try to figure out our way to express how we feel about a game constructively. But in, at least in our opinion, for the way that we talk about this here on Snapback, we talk in open and honest opinions. I will be the first person to tell you if I don't like something. I'll also be the first person to tell you when I do. But more importantly, if you say something I don't like, I have no problem swallowing that, ingesting it, dissecting it, and then saying to you whether I like it or don't like it, and more importantly, why. Not just, you're wrong. Send.
Facts.
No, it's okay. That's not an argument. That's just words. You might as well have said corn cob potato peeler, and it's just as effective of a comment. It's under 5 words in YouTube, therefore it means absolutely nothing for the algorithm. You just literally wasted muscle movement to make a comment for us. Thanks, I appreciate you for nothing. So if you're gonna troll me, at least use 5 words in a YouTube comment. Otherwise, YouTube doesn't even care about your comment. These are the things that we know that you don't. But I digress. That when it comes to the community and how we address what comes out in the game, it is something worth noting and is a good tangent for us to kind of spin onto for a second, because we haven't done a really good job recently, just as a community of content creators in general, of expressing to the community how to communicate like a dev. And what I mean by that is providing that kind of feedback. If you go in, for example, to certain Discords, if you see something that's wrong, you see a feedback piece, they're going to ask you, screenshot or, account ID, what type of device you were on. That can very much so affect things. They're going to ask you for as much information as possible, because it could be a very specific scenario that may have only affected 0.2% of people, but you're one of them. But because the way media works and Discords and Twitter and all these other things, it could spread like wildfire of, oh, did you see this bug? Maybe not, because I use an iPhone and you're on an Android device. I have no idea. So when you do have feedback, good, bad, or negative, make it worth your while, because otherwise, from a dev standpoint and from a content creator standpoint, if you're not going to contribute something of value, don't. Because like you preach, otherwise your vocabulary only provides a negative expected value. And as a player, you should know better than to contribute that willingly to the ecosystem. So if you can't put out feedback in a positive promotional way that is going to make the environment and the culture or the mechanics or the whatever it is of the ecosystem of the game positive, not happy, I'm talking about improving it. If you can't do that, for lack of a better term, shut up. Because there are so many other people out there that know how to communicate these kinds of things and will take your feedback. Whether you're a community member, whether you're a content creator, whether you're a developer, everybody can provide feedback. Who gets listened to is the group of people that actually provide something of worth. If you have no worth, keep your worth to yourself, because clearly you need it. We don't. The devs are extremely active with the community, and they're consistently trying to get more feedback because they'll filter through the bullshit. So let's just give them less bullshit to filter through. Am I crazy?
Help them help us.
Yeah. It's a worthwhile topic, and I don't mind talking about it for a little bit here. But I just think that as a community, we need to remember that, look, it's the beginning of the season. We have new locations that we have opinions about. And we have new cards that we think we have opinions about. And we're just learning. Everybody was all hot and sweaty for Ghost. And then we all played Ghost and said, well, Ghost is just because we can have wrong opinions. And sometimes the devs have wrong opinions
I know
too.
I did.
And sometimes you have wrong opinions too. as viewers, as listeners, as watchers, as members, as community people, I want the community to take this piece out of this podcast and run with it as much as they can. Please spread the word that we need to be a little bit better cumulatively always, not just in this moment, but always. We needed it a month ago, we needed it 2 months ago, and we're going to need it 2 months from now. Just remember that we all want this game to succeed. Incredibly. And it is one of the most successful games out there right now. For all the right reasons. For all of the right reasons. Let's just continue that pattern and put our spin on making the game better by being a great community member. Because I see a lot of people not being it. Not enough to make it a toxic community, because for the love of God, it isn't. Because it's really funny to watch when other communities try to infiltrate the Marvel Snap community, say their negative opinions, and then Marvel Snap says, nope, not today.
Not today, Satan.
I love the fact that this community is so passionate about the game. I love that there are so many people willing to put their face out there and stick their neck out there as creators for this game. And I love the fact that we can have open and honest discussions on this forum, talking about these cards, these characters, whether we like, whether we don't like. But I'll lead in towards the closing statements by posing a question to you. Completely off the cuff. Okay?
All right.
If you could build a location that you think would benefit the game from a player's experience, what would it be? Not just to be an annoying location, not just to be a, wow, this is great for one featured weekend because it's up 60% of the time and we're all playing into it. Like, just a general, it's in the pool, it has a same percentage chance as the Raptor lands or all these other ones, the major ones, the commons. Build me a location. What does that look like to you?
I would base it off I probably base it off of Super Scroll. Every single location, or not every location, but every single ongoing card gives the other opponent the same effect when placed at this location. I think that would be kind of cool.
I mean, I like it.
Yeah, so that everybody gets the love. I don't know. But now, you said right off the cuff. I just threw it out there.
I wonder, would that play negatively or positively, though? Because think about it. It's very much so like...
I think it can do both.
The land that would be, I always forget it, the one that removes the ongoing effects. Because wouldn't it would almost be 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, except for very select effects. So you would play it. Yeah, that could be cool. Because now I'm thinking like, okay, Mojo, it'd be the same on both sides. Got it. But then Iron Man,
Typhoid Mary,
the same way. Yeah, Typhoid Mary then hits differently too. Like that could be really cool. I like that.
Thank you.
I like that.
I'm here all day.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. You're not working, so I know you're here with me. Yeah. If I were gonna throw something out there, I'd probably say something along the lines of, as we see with all the Guardians of the Galaxy characters, wherever, you know, when you play a card here, it gets plus blank. Something along the lines of, if both players play a card here, both of those cards double their value. Or add plus half their value, rounded up to the nearest one. Or, you know, something along those lines. I think that could be really strategic, because then, in a very weird way, you have to choose. Are you working together as players because you're trying to benefit and you're hoping that their benefit is less beneficial than your benefit? Or are you playing against each other because, relevant or not, it's not like Cosmo would stop it, because it's the land effect, not the cards effect. So
yep.
I think something along those lines would be really fun. I'm curious what people, just like our listeners, would think too. Just throw something down in the comments for us. If you could create a location, you don't have to give it a name, just like the effect of the location. Or if you want to be super nerdy and figure out a name and a lore and an icon and a logo, just go ahead and throw it up. But
that's so me.
Yeah, I know it is. I know it is. Because I know
so
you're
me.
racking comic books in your head right now going,
that's exactly what I'm doing. Okay. Oh, God, you got me.
Like, that would be a lot of fun. That'd be cool. Camden, where can we find you, buddy?
You can find me on Twitch at KMDN__. You can find me on Instagram, same thing. You can find me on YouTube, same thing. Hi, my name is Camden. No longer stranger danger. We're best friends to the end. I'm like the Chucky doll. Well,
I
like the Chucky doll.
Sure, yeah, that's way to scare the poor children. And and then on the opposite end over here, for those who do not know, my name is Guest, also known as ItsGuestGaming. You can find me here on the Snapback Podcast, on YouTube, on this channel, as well as over live streaming on Twitch 4 to 5 days a week. You find me over on Twitter, Discord, Instagram, all of the above. We always have a good time. Camden, I love you, man. Thank you so much for taking some time to hang out and talk more about this. Next week, I think we said we're going to talk about the game economy a little bit.
Yes, we are.
And not just like rant about it, but there's a lot of opinions out there. And I think it's time that we kind of break down some of them. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for hanging out for us here at the Snapback Podcast. We snap with you all day because we know that you snap and we snap back. I was waiting for that. We needed at least one more on the outro.
We needed one more.
Just for
What's my safe word?
No.
No.
Oh.
Peace, love, and corn grease. We out.